Hi, welcome to Web Dreamer. I'm Patricia Simcoe, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how to remember your dreams. People often tell me that they don't dream or that they don't think they dream, but the truth is, pretty much everybody dreams. The issue is remembering our dreams, and it's very difficult sometimes to do that. There are reasons for that, and I'm going to explain very briefly why it's hard to remember your dreams. We dream in a certain kind of code. We dream in a language that we don't use in everyday life. We dream in the language that we had before we learned how to speak with words. This language is more basic and more primary to our whole way of operation than the logic, linear, syntactical language of words. The language we dream in is called primary process, and it is called primary process because it is the most primary way our brains ever had of making meaning. It is a visual language, and its logic is based on visual logic, intuitive logic, sensory logic, and feeling logic. So it really is a different way of communication, and it is the only way our unconscious mind knows how to speak. So you dream in a certain way, in a certain logic, in a certain language and code, and when we wake up and click into our daily mode, we lose that logic and we switch into what is called secondary process, which is the logic and the language of the linear mind. It is the language in which I speak to you now. So, how to remember something when you have a language of one sort and you're used to thinking and speaking in a language of another sort? This switch between primary process and secondary process happens very quickly, and that is the reason why dreams often just get lost. We go into secondary process and we forget everything we were thinking or experiencing in the primary process mode. However, there are things we can do about this, and I'm going to walk you through the best method for remembering your dreams. Now, there is something good going for you with this, and that is that primary process, the dream state, REM state, is the energetic state of sleep that is right next door to waking state. They're very similar, energetically speaking. The break is quick and sudden, but it's easy enough to go back and forth if you develop the habit. It's kind of like standing in the middle of a teeter-totter. You can step on this side and tilt that way, but if you keep your balance, you also have access to stepping on the other leg and tilting back the other way. And that's how we learn to remember our dreams. When you wake up after a dream, first of all, try not to use an alarm clock or an artificial way of waking up. If possible, if you use an alarm clock, you will automatically flip into secondary process and you'll lose your dream. Sometimes we have to do that. Often we have to do that a lot. But if ever you can wake up naturally, when you do wake up, lie still. Don't open your eyes. Just lie there and see if you can access what you're seeing. Just see if there's any kind of dream imagery that's there, a sight, a feeling, a memory. You might not get the entire dream, but you might get a flash of a memory, like catching a fish by the tail. Maybe you'll think, oh yes, I dreamed about my friend Jason. What was I dreaming about him? Or, oh yeah, I think there was a ski slope I dreamed I was skiing. When you get something from your dream imagery, Melt into it and see if there's more that will build around it. Again, you might not remember your dream imagery from the first thing going forward in a linear way. You might have some symbol or some person or a feeling or a color. Try to stay with it in a sensual way, in an intuitive way. Melt into it and see if you can get more. Often then the next thing will come into place. And as that happens, so that you don't fall back asleep, then you step on the other foot and put that part of the dream into words. Oh yes, I was with Jason at a dinner. We were sitting at a dinner. Oh, that's right, he was talking about going skiing. And then melt into that part of the dream. In this way, going back and forth between primary process that you feel into and access your dream in, and secondary process into which you translate that dream, you start to get the working story of your dream, the narrative of your dream. Generally, at a certain point, the whole thing will click into place. And all of a sudden, the rest of the dream will become apparent, and you'll remember, oh yes, and so was at the table, and I remember, oh, I said this, and my sister-in-law said that, and you'll get a sudden download of what the entire dream was about, or a certain segment of the dream. Take that back into secondary process, put that into narrative form. When you feel you've gained about as much of the dream as you can, repeat the dream in narrative form to yourself. This is still without opening your eyes. And by the way, this could take 20 seconds or 30 seconds. It's taking me way longer to explain it to you than it will for you to do it. So when you have repeated the dream in narrative form and you feel like you have it, name the dream. Just pick something from the dream that you will remember. Jason, or skiing. That will help you access that file when you get out of bed. Then you're ready to get up and get out of bed. And as soon as you can, write down in your dream journal, which you keep there, right next to your bed, Jason skiing. And as soon as you can after that, write down your dream. Now, as you write down your dream, try to write down your dream in whatever way you remember it. Don't try to clean up the grammar. Don't try to clean up the spelling. If something doesn't make sense, don't try to make it make sense. Your dreams don't make logical, linear sense. Your dreams make another kind of sense. And we are going to work on how to understand our dreams and the logic of the dream, because that is the logic of your deep mind, the mind from which you create your entire world. Thanks for checking in today with WebDreamer. I'm Patricia Simcoe.